Hey everyone, my name is Stephen Collier and I'm the media coordinator here at Ridgecrest. Last week the staff was discussing some of the cool stories happening around the church, and I realized that we didn't have an outlet to highlight those stories. So in a blatant ripoff of a current trending video, we've collected a few things to share with you today. The only thing missing was a charming host to put all this together, so naturally the staff chose the guy who spends his days working with cold, unfeeling technology, quarantine or not. But enough about me. Let's get into it. In case it hasn't been burned into your brain yet, our vision here at Ridgecrest is to know God, serve others, and reach our world. And good news, Ridgecrest, even amidst this weird time of social distancing, our church family is still finding ways to do all these things. A great example of this is in our very own So Missions. This awesome group has been hard at work making and distributing masks to healthcare workers, Jackson Street Ministry, and whoever may need them. So our senior pastor, Michael Estes, who claims to be as bad at sewing as he is good at making Lord of the Rings references, caught up with Samantha Denson to learn more about So Missions. Check it out.
Today I am with Samantha Denson, who is one of the leaders for our So Missions group. Samantha, we wanted to find out just a little bit more about what So Missions is and what we do at Ridgecrest through So Missions. So if you don't mind, just kind of giving me like a brief overview of what So Missions is and what you guys do.
Okay, we started about 4 or 5 years ago, teaching people to sew or just sharpening skills we already had, sewing strictly for missions. We give away everything that we make. We've made blankets, we've made hospital gowns, quilts, anything that we're asked to make. We've made clothes and sent them with mission trips, and now we are making masks.
Okay, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about what y'all are doing right now as far as making masks. I mean, how many masks have y'all made, and who are y'all giving those to, and that sort of thing?
As of today, we've given away 1,115 masks.
Awesome.
We have made kits so that people that can sew but don't have the supplies to make the mask can pick up the kits and complete them and then drop a finished mask back off so that we can give them out. We've given them out to pretty much anybody who has asked, mostly healthcare workers, some nursing homes, long-term care. We've sent them to the coast. We've sent them to Louisiana. We've sent them to Florida. We've given out a lot here locally as well.
Awesome. So let's say we can't sew. I can't sew at all. I have no skill with that at all. What is something that I could do to help you guys when it comes to actually being able to do this stuff?
Well, prayer first, definitely. We have spent quite a bit of money on supplies, elastic and ribbon, which is the price is steadily going up, and everybody is trying to get it right now. So it's been hard to get a hold of.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had lots of monetary donations made, even by not just the people that we've given the mask to, but just from people at our church giving us money so that we can keep doing this.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is basically you can do one of a couple of things. One, you can obviously pray, and that's something that we should all be doing. But you could also donate money, or if we have materials, is there anything specific that would be helpful from a material standpoint?
Elastic and ribbon right now is all that we need. We have lots of fabric because we already have a closet full of it at church, and we're trying not to fill up our living rooms with fabric. Because we can actually get about 10 to 12 masks out of a yard of fabric, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And since we already have a lot of that, fabric is not needed, but elastic and ribbon are the hard to come by items.
Okay. Do you guys have enough people that can sew already, are kind of working, or do y'all need more of that as well?
We can always use more people sewing. Right now, we have actually, because of just yesterday, we no longer have a waiting list.
That's good.
We had quite a long waiting list, but now we don't. We have caught up. We still have people sewing. People from our church, people that have sewn with us regularly on Wednesday nights, and people we don't even know. People that have just heard and have come by my front porch and picked up a kit and made masks. But yeah, we can always use more people sewing.
Okay. So if somebody wants to help you guys, what's the best way to contact y'all?
So we have an email address. So Missions, like SEW missions at yahoo.com. And then pretty much, I feel like all of Madison has my phone number right now.
Yeah, when you volunteer to do stuff like this, sometimes that's the hazard of doing it, is everybody ends up with
Yes.
your contact information. Well, thanks so much for spending some time with me today about So Missions. We're really excited about what y'all are doing for our church and as a general, a missions organization. I think it's awesome. Y'all are definitely making a huge impact. So again, thanks for your time today.
We also have a Facebook page.
Okay.
So Missions on Facebook. It's spelled SEW Missions on Facebook. And we've gotten a lot of traffic on there too. But yes, thank you. Thank you for helping get the word out.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much for everything y'all are doing, and we'll talk to you sometime soon.
All right, thank you.
Keep up the good work, ladies. And since we're celebrating local heroes, let's hear it for these distractingly large headphones on my head for having enough structural integrity to keep my hair contained for the duration of this recording. I haven't been able to get my hair cut in 3 months, and I have not ruled out shaving my head as a solution. Back to the good news. Though most of us are spending Sundays at home, a lot of our life groups are still finding ways to meet while complying with social distancing through services like Zoom. Matt had a Zoom call of his own with one of our life group leaders to find out how this change of scenery has affected their group. Now let's go to Matt with the story. Matt, you're looking well today.
Thanks, Stephen. Life groups are a significant part of Ridgecrest. However, during the COVID-19 pandemic, they have looked very different. Today, I'm joined with Steve Given, one of our life group leaders, to kind of talk about that and kind of talk about his group that has continued meeting. And so, Steve, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
How have you seen, the ability to meet virtually really benefit your group during this time?
I think it's been just nice to be able to see all the faces in one spot. We really like the kind of the Brady Bunch aspect of the way that it gets presented. But it's also been interesting to see all the different places that people have been able to log in from. So it's a barrier reducer. You don't have to actually be anywhere. It's been very very interesting in that regard. And the other thing that we point out to our life group members just about every week is that there's never been an easier time to invite people. Because it's substantially a meeting link is substantially less intimidating than walking into a church you've never been in hitting the lobby. So it's a good time to reach out and just let people know that we're doing it and see them join. So that's been a lot of fun. And of course, I've really enjoyed seeing the family interactions on the other end of the Zoom. So it's always nice to see a couple of toddlers wander by the screen in the middle of a Sunday school lesson, things you'd never see in real life that just make it fun to watch. So I think that's been encouraging as well. So it's neat to see.
You brought up a great point as far as the flexibility and, and in person, you can't really turn off your video and just like be a fly on the wall or whatever it may be, but with Zoom and other platforms, we're able to do that. And, just a lot of neat, flexible, options that we didn't have, before.
Absolutely.
How have you seen, God kind of doing through your all's virtual life group time?
Probably the most profound that's really stood out to me is in prayer and prayer request. The net that we cast for prayer requests now is larger because we have so many people that have maybe family members working in healthcare in other states that we wouldn't have talked about, and we wouldn't have talked about someone's sister who was a pharmacist in Georgia, or somebody's cousin who was a nurse on a COVID floor, or things like that. And so we've really gotten to learn a lot about each other and kind of just the impact that even our small group is having all over the place. So I think continuing to see that it's just interesting that God's been in control from the beginning, and so COVID's kind of reset people's mind in a way that they're able to visualize that they're not actually in control if they run that under that illusion. And I think that that's brought people just more aware of the need for prayer, and I think that's neat. I mean, to me, that's been really neat.
It's easy whenever we're in the busyness of everyday life and just the regular things going on, we can easily forget those things.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to assess where you are in your faith walk, and if you've been doing the fundamentals, you should be ready for battle. So I think it's a great time to reinforce some basics.
Yeah, that's great. And life groups are a great opportunity to do that. As you get into that kind of smaller group, environment and be able to ask some of those questions or just listen to some teaching and just to really wrestle with some of those things where we need to take those next steps in each of our areas of growth that we need to really focus in on.
I agree.
So Steve, I appreciate you as a life group leader. And again, Steve, thank you for joining me. And I really do appreciate it. And Stephen, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Matt. And lastly, an important aspect of our vision is to reach our world with the gospel. And with the current complications brought with COVID-19, this has presented some of our global mission partners with some difficulties as well as some opportunities to make impact. This week, our worship pastor Greg O'Neill spoke with David and Greta Johns, a couple missionaries from Honduras, about the current state of their mission. Here's a few minutes from that interview.
We're talking to David and Greta Johns, who are missionary partners of Ridgecrest. We partner with them and pray for them and support them. They are in Roatan, right? Honduras. Am I getting that's the right island, right? They're in Roatan, Honduras. And so Greta's telling us about the impact, the economic impact that the virus is having. But before the virus, what kind of tell us just a little, catch us up on what your ministry looks like normally when things are normal.
Yeah. So for the past few years that we've been here in Roatan, our main focus is to teach others to teach others. So it's a intense discipleship. When we came here, we realized there was a great need for leadership training. When we entered into Oak Ridge situation, there was basically one male in the church and the rest were ladies. And so we kind of came in and started working with the men that God was bringing. And at this point, we have 4 men now that are working within the church. And so what I would do is just every week I would come together with these men and we would go like New Testament survey, Old Testament survey, going through the books of the Bible, helping them to understand the overarching theme of the scriptures, and just helping them to be able to rightly divide the scriptures for themselves and going over core teachings and doctrines so that they could be in a position where they can lead well here in Oak Ridge. And that's our ultimate goal, is to see them leading well. We also work alongside the youth and had some other programs going on as well. And one of the big things that God kind of brought into our life is the clinic, where we could also help people with their medical needs. And Greta, she's been the one who is kind of taking point on the clinic, so I'll let her share a little bit about that with you as well.
Okay.
So last October, the Lord gave us a really unique opportunity to open a general practice medical clinic at the church that we're currently working with here in Oak Ridge. And so we have a full-time doctor, we have a full-time RN, we have 2 part-time clinic technicians, and they all live here in the local community. So we've been able to have a staff that is all locally based. So we're providing jobs to the local people. The clinic averages, before the coronavirus, we were averaging about 225 to 250 patients a month. Our end of the island, the closest hospital for us is 30 minutes away, and that's on a good day with little traffic and not a bunch of potholes in the road. So healthcare on our end of the island is very, very limited. Prior to opening the clinic, we had been doing everything from cleaning diabetic wounds on people's feet to bandaging kids that fell and got deep cuts and really needed stitches but didn't have the money to go all the way down island and get stitches, and their parents didn't want stitches. We've helped people, with
Simple things like a Benadryl.
Allergic reactions.
Right.
They just need a Benadryl and they're covered in hives, and we've got the Benadryl and they can't get it anywhere else. Because of the virus now and the restrictions, our clinic can only be open 3 days a week. We were open Monday to Friday from 8 to 5. Right now we can only be open Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 3 because of curfew and such. But the clinic is still a huge part of our ministry, even though the virus isn't here. Diabetes is the #1 disease of the island. AIDS is rampant on the island. And people need their monthly medications for blood pressure and cholesterol and things like that. So the clinic is still very much a part of ministry despite the virus.
We couldn't fit their whole conversation into this video, but if you'd like to check out the full version, check out the link in the description. And that's all I've got for this week. If you have anything you'd like to share with me, I'd love to feature it here. Just contact me at scollier@ridgecrest.net or just message our Facebook page if you have anything that you'd like to share. It's my hope that we can use these segments as a chance to celebrate the good things happening in the lives of our church family. If you have any prayer requests or other needs, please reach out to any of our staff members or email media@ridgecrest.net. I hope you guys enjoyed this and cracked a smile or two, but if you didn't, please refer your criticism to mcloyd@ridgecrest.net.
Thanks, Stephen.
Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you online Sunday.